day one of Formula One 2020. Not the most glamorous of starts to the season here. It's about 7 a.m. It's about 3 degrees. The drivers might be cold and tired. It's a very exciting day though as well, because the new cars are about to be unleashed onto the track. And this is a car that's taken about 9 months to design and then put together. The build process would have been manic over the winter, working day and night, the mechanics to put this car together. Finally, it's down to the track, and the driver's heading in now to get their first chance to drive it. So it's an exciting time. The first thing the driver's going to do when they come in is have breakfast straight to the motorhome, where most of the team will be. Quite an important meal, because the cars are actually so reliable now that drivers can be expected to do 160 plus laps. That's like almost 3 Grand Prix distances in a day. For me, I used to go for a porridge option. Take your oats on, take your grains, bit of a chat with the mechanics and engineers just to catch up. Nothing too much, because then 8 o'clock, 1 hour before the green light, they'll be going over to that building over there for a big sit-down pre-brief of the day, and that'll be a run-through of the entire run plan, your 160-odd laps, what you're going to do for each and every single lap. It's all monitored. To us, it might look like they just sort of go out and run round and that's about it. Every single lap is meticulously planned, all the test items they want to do. Are you going to do a roll stiffness change, a ride height change, a front wing sweep? There's so many different complexities to this Formula One car that you've got to learn. Remember, it's a new car. You've got a room full of engineers, your race engineer, performance engineer, engine engineer, aero engineer, everyone dialed into this one meeting, which is going to outline pretty much how your day's going to unfold. 8:50, we're about to go green, and the drivers will come through this walkway, fully kitted up now, and get ready to jump in the car. It's an exciting time, particularly for the likes of Williams and Nicholas Latifi. He's a rookie, probably does have new engineering relationships to build as well. It's the first time he's going to hear the new man in his ears, maybe as he's driving around. He'll go and talk to the engineer, final go through the run plan, any procedures he's got to do. For the more experienced guys, your Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettels, it's maybe a bit more run-of-the-mill. They know how it goes, but it's still exciting because it's still a new car, and every year you get to this point, we're about to go green light to christen a new car, and you never know what's going to happen. So we're out on track down at Sector 3. And the first thing the drivers are going to do when they get in the car is normally a shakedown. Make sure the car's okay. It's a new one. Ensure that you're not getting bruises or discomfort in random places. The pedals are the right size. You're happy with all the controls on the steering wheel. So normally out, back in, sometimes with a fancy grill on the car filled with sensors to measure certain things. Once you're happy with that, that comes off and you get into the proper running. This is where the run plan really takes shape. You start feeling the balance of the car, reporting back immediately every single thing. Drivability, does it feel normal? The balance is always critical. Oversteer, understeer, maximising it. The overall grip level. This sector here actually is critical. It's relatively low speed. Doesn't look like a great deal, but you can really feel the car moving underneath you. Any instability on the rear is normally a bad sign. That's what the drivers want to avoid when they get into a new car. It's much easier to dial in front end than it is to dial in rear end. When that all comes together, you've got a pretty good package. All of these early laps are for the team as much as they are for the driver. The driver, they want to get in and experience what the new car's like, but the team are all there and they're eager to hear the response. They get it on the radio, the drivers as they come through, receiving instructions as well, because they're changing loads of settings on the hoof. The drivers might want to do something different, but they've just really got to be following the instructions from the team. This test is all about learning what the car's like. The drivers get the benefit of feeling the car and learning a few things themselves as well. But if they start doing things their own way, the team are going to be pretty miffed, because they're going to be losing valuable data. You hear it so much, the team collecting data, but it's critical when you want to go to Melbourne and have a car that wants to be fighting at the front. Only one driver drives in the test day. So what does the other one do? Well, they've got this room here to have a bit of sanctuary from all the craziness that can go on, the media, the PR, the everything else. This is Nicholas Latifi's room that we're in. He's got all his race suits hanging up. Normally, you're going to be in here with a headset on as well and just following what's going on, maybe have the live timing on, or just your favourite TV show. The two different drivers, the guy driving the car and the guy watching the guy driving the car have very different days, of course. The one in the car hopes to not be using this room at all. They hope to be out there getting their laps in and maybe catch a breather for lunch and not much more. You want to be getting those laps in pre-season. For the other driver, they don't quite have to do the 7 a.m. start. They can have a bit more of a relaxing lie-in, get in for the meeting, have their media commitments through the day, a bit more leisurely. Some teams split the driving, and that came in really when teams started to get up to 160, 180 laps. Barcelona's a difficult circuit, a lot of long, fast corners. It was such a big demand on the driver's body. Other teams have one car go the whole way through. It means they don't have to swap the seats, the pedal positions at lunch. Makes the workload of the mechanics a bit easier, makes the workload of the drivers that bit harder because they end up doing mammoth race distances in the day. But it means they have the whole next day off where they can relax, use this room a bit, keep an eye on what the other driver's doing and have more of a chill day. So different approaches, but hopefully the same end result. It's been a long day and the driver's about 160 laps, you hope, later. Still going round, still running to that run plan you started right at the beginning of the day, but now greeted by a very low sun. And actually, through turns 1 and 2 here, you head into turn 3, flat out corner, and as the sun continues to drop, that's going to go right down towards the trees in another hour. You can't see really anything. But there's still things to do, even at the end of testing. Practice pit stops. The mechanics, they've not done any live pit stops for a long time as well. They need a bit of a wake up, some practice starts, and then a classic fuel run out test. You can sometimes have a red flag right at the end of the day when the teams want to see exactly how low they can run the fuel before the car turns off. The driver's probably pretty achy right now, having had a winter off, training as hard as they can, but doesn't quite prepare you for 160 laps. And these corners here are exactly where it takes its toll on your body as well. A lot on the neck, probably leaning a little bit like this right now, but getting it all done and hopefully pretty happy at this stage. The sun sets, but the day is definitely not done. Still 2 major things for the drivers to do. Firstly, up there, the engineers room once again, the busiest meeting of the day really, collating all the information, every single run, all the sets of tyres. Hopefully you've learnt something or more than one thing from each. The driver, which is pretty critical, they're the ones strapped into the car, they've been pounding around for all those laps, all their feelings and thoughts are critical, and that's why you get a lot of people tuning in from the factory. They could dial in, people that aren't even in the country can ask questions to the driver to try and get feedback. Sometimes things don't go perfectly in a test day, and really these are difficult moments, but you've got to be quite honest in these meetings. You've got to say, this is good, we can work on that, but this we really need to work on. This is the main problem, because there's only 6 days of testing, 3 days per driver. You've got to find your problems quickly, and you've got to be sometimes pretty brutal. After that, the drivers will go to the media, and there you don't want to be pretty brutal. There you've got to try and put on a positive face, because people from the factory that aren't in the meeting, they might see your reaction simply from the media and think, we've put a lot of hard work into this. Is it going to be a good year? Oh yeah, he's positive. We've all got a good feeling about the car. Plus you've got your sponsors, a lot of commercial pressures as well. And you want to be enthusiastic. It's the start of a long season. Finally after that, the day is pretty much done. Grab a bit of dinner, head home, and get ready for the following day.